Hi, I'm Joe Brooks, and today I'm going to be making Banoffi Pie, which is a rich toffee-filled dessert with banana and coffee flavouring. It comes from the UK from a restaurant called the Hungry Monk, although I'm reliably informed that mine tastes better than the one in the restaurant, having tried it last year. So to start with, take 2 cans of condensed milk. These are regular size, sort of 14-ounce cans, and remove the labels. And we're going to put these in a pan of boiling water. It needs to be completely submerged, and they get boiled without opening the can. The whole can goes in for 3 hours. So we just put them straight in. I recommend using an old pan because the glue comes off the cans and can get stuck to the inside and is a pain to clean off. But we leave them simmering and just keep checking the water to make sure they're submerged for the 3 hours. Occasionally turn them over if you like. And you can do this in advance, so you can make this months in advance and store them in the cupboard to make one in the future. So first I'm going to make the pie crust, which is a regular short crust pastry. So I'm going to add a cup of flour into the mixer and 4 ounces of butter, and just mix them until it resembles fine breadcrumbs. This butter has been softened overnight. I'm also going to add a pinch of salt. Okay, and once it resembles fine breadcrumbs, just going to drip in a little bit of water at a time until it binds into a one ball to roll out. So now we're just going to bind it together in one ball and just knead it a little bit to get all the air out and make sure it binds well when we roll it out. Okay, so next we're going to roll out the pastry. We've greased and lined with flour a 9.5 inch pie tin. So just put some flour down, and I normally roll it on top of a sheet like this because it makes it much easier to turn it upside down and put it in the pan. Okay, so we're going to turn the pan upside down. And then just push the crust in. And then once it's pressed in, just trim off the excess so it's a bit neater. Okay. And then to start with, we're going to bake it, blind bake it. So we've got some foil or parchment paper, just loosely put that in the middle and put some rice or lentils or something on top. This is just to weigh it down a little bit so the base doesn't rise. And we'll bake it like this for about 15 minutes and then take out the foil and the rice and bake for another 15 minutes until it's golden brown. Okay, so next, to fill the crust with the toffee filling, the crust has been left out to cool, and the condensed milk, having been boiled, has been left to cool, and it can be left, let's say, overnight or done in advance anyway. So you open the cans and it gives it a much stickier, heavier consistency than condensed milk normally. And we tip the contents of 2 cans in the crust. And then just spread it out with a knife so it's fairly evenly spread inside the crust. Okay, and then once it's spread out, you put it in the fridge, normally for at least a couple of hours, but it can be left overnight just to harden a bit before we put the topping on it. So next we're preparing the topping, and we slice bananas to layer over the top of the toffee and then make the cream topping. And a trick I learned is that you should open a banana from the bottom, because that's how monkeys do it, so it doesn't crush the banana. So we just cut them into pieces that are probably like a quarter, a third of an inch. Doesn't need to be too precise. And then just evenly spread the slices out on top of the toffee. And leave a little bit of a gap between each one and between the crusts for the cream to get in. Okay. Okay, so once the bananas are all spread over the top, we're mixing some heavy cream, a little bit of sugar to sweeten it, and we've got some instant coffee powder that just gives a little bit of a coffee flavor, and then decorate it. So to start with, I'm just going to put the heavy cream in a bowl and whisk it until it's fairly stiff, not too stiff, and then add in the sugar and the coffee. Okay, when adding the sugar, I normally only put sort of 2 or 3 tablespoons in, but anything up to half a cup, depending on how sweet you like it. But the condensed milk's really sweet, so you shouldn't need too much. And also when you put the instant coffee in, sometimes it's in big lumps. It doesn't really matter. It'll look like there's lumps in the cream, but it's all part of the look of it in the end, and it breaks up anyway. So we're going to spread this over the top of the bananas. And just spoon it on. If you're going to serve it pretty soon after making it, then make the cream a bit thicker. This is pretty thick, but you can also put it in the fridge for a few hours just to sort of harden if it's a little bit softer. And just push it into the edges so it covers all the bananas so they don't go brown. And then finally just take a bit more of the instant coffee powder. So sprinkle the coffee over the top for decoration, and there we go, Banoffi Pie.